Hello, Bruce Cheney here in the leather shop. I've got a tutorial on how to make this leather knife sheath, and it is in reverse order. I know if you're like me, you like to jump to it and see what it looks like when it's finished. So I'm going through the steps in reverse on this video, and I'll start off by putting the gloss on this and then regress in each step. So at the very end, I'll kind of have my knife sheath laid on the bench and show you how I started. So I hope you enjoy this. It's a little different twist to this. I know your time's valuable, so I'm starting off by showing the finished product to begin with. So it's kind of a fun deal. Let's get going. Hello, today I'm going to put a protective finish on my handmade leather knife sheath, and I'll be using acrylic Resolene made by Fiebings, and it's a protective finish. And what I've got here is some bark tanned sheepskin that I've trimmed and made these applicators. I have some large scrap pieces of sheepskin, and I've made my applicators. And then now I'm going to take the Resolene and put some on my applicator here. Kind of rub that in there with my thumb and put a coat on the edge to begin with. After this dries and sets up, it really has a long-lasting top coat finish for your handmade leather knife sheaths. Something I think you'll really like. It kind of brings the color out in the leather also. Gives it a brilliant olive oil finish. You can use neatsfoot oil or olive oil and kind of color it out. I used a natural russet leather, a saddle leather, and then farmed it, shaped it, hand sewed it, then rubbed the edges. And after everything dried, I gave it 2 or 3 coats of olive oil, just light coats, work it in until the color evens out. To slick the edges up, I used Fiebings saddle soap to rub on the edges there, and I'll use a burlap bag, and that slicks the edges up. Hello, today I'm going to show you how I hand stitch my handmade knife sheaths, and I'll show you what I've done so far. I've got a pair of C.S. Osborne wing dividers here. This is the 6-inch dividers, and I've scribed a line in about 3/16, slightly plus a little bit, and I've marked my holes at 1/4 of an inch in length. All right, I got my thread ready. I cut my sewing thread. It's 8 feet in length, and I put needles on each end. They're C.S. Osborne large eye harness needles. I've got a line scribed on the back here, and what I'll do is set my awl in here like this and give it a little twist like this, and that helps it to punch through the other side. And while I'm wiggling this like this with this motion, I'm looking on the back, and I want it to come out in the center of my line. If you'll use that for a focal point every time, your stitches on the back side will look a lot better than not really looking or paying attention. Okay, I got my hole punched. It came out in the back about where I wanted it. Get my needle nose, pull my thread through. And then pull that back, make sure my needle doesn't go through the thread, and snag it. And that looks good. Let's do that again. We'll take into that on and make sure I come out in my line in the back. I didn't put much of a twist on that last pull down. I'll show you how I put a twist on this one. Okay, stick this needle right through there like that. Pull my thread back a little bit. Okay, this time I'm going to put a little more of a twist on that thread. Yep, that looks good right there. This is a C.S. Osborne awl haft number 145 with a saddler's awl in it that measures about 2.5 inches in length. You may want to get 2 or 3 awls to have a variety of lengths. And as you punch your hole, give it a little twist to punch it through. I just received some vegetable tanned cowhides, and I've got a right side of the cowhide up here on my bench right here, and there's 3 other hides underneath this, but this is the right side of a cowhide. This is the butt area of the hide. Right down through here is the back. Over here at the top, that's the belly area. That's a pliable part of the hide. In this area, the butt area of the hide, that is a firm area. This is the prime part of the hide for your knife sheaths that you're going to tool, carve, or basket stamp. This would be a good area. Also, right down the back here is where you can get some belt strips for your knife sheath. You can make you a belt and a matching knife sheath. And you can nest your patterns on a hide like this and just yield a lot of knife sheath. Up in the neck area right here is where it gets firm. That makes a good filler area. You can cut your fillers, spacers for your knife sheath, or if you need just a good rugged heavy duty sheath, that would be the area you might want to utilize for that. This is saddle skirting leather that is, it's a golden skirting, U.S. steer hides, vegetable tan leather. It comes in a couple different weights, and this is the knife sheath that I cut out. I'll tell you a little bit about the pattern there. The customer couldn't leave his knife, so I made a leather pattern mock-up, and then I wet farmed the sheath, and here's my patterns, and there's the knife sheath with the gusset glued into it. Here are a few of the tools that I'll be using to hand sew this leather knife sheath. I've got a C.S. Osborne pair of wing dividers right there. It's a 6-inch wing dividers. And this is a C.S. Osborne number 145. I think you can see the number there. That's a awl haft with a diamond shaped blade in it. Then I've got a package of number 517, the aught length. They're big eye harness needles to run my thread through. I've got a couple spools of thread here. I use both of these kind of threads. The one on the right is a braided polyester. It's really a slick thread. I like it real well. And then this larger spool here is a flat waxed nylon lacing tape. It's got a lot of wax on it, and what I usually do is roll off about what I need to sew my sheath and wipe some of the wax off of it with a rag or something. I've got my stitches marked here at 1/4 of an inch. Got a filler in the knife sheath folded over, and then I've got the loop there so you can wear this knife sheath on the right or the left side on your belt. These stitches are marked at 1/4 of an inch in length, and I'll use the C.S. Osborne awl to punch the holes. Here's a look at a stack of my knife sheath patterns I keep those for reference. Chances are a lot of your knives are one of a kind and the sheath will fit slightly different. So you end up making a lot of different patterns, or sometimes you might not even use a pattern, just fold your leather over and trim it to its size, and then make your knife sheath. But whichever way you go, you might want to archive your patterns, put a date on them, and what kind of knife it was. If you make a lot of the same kind of knives, that'd be good that you can use your pattern over and over. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial on making this knife sheath. Appreciate a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time, and have fun with your leatherworking and leathercraft. See you. Over at the Leathercraft site, my website there, I'm going to have a blog post with a little bit more information on the tools, materials, supplies, and the process I used for making this handmade leather knife sheath.